Welcome to the Strong Enough podcast, where we talk about the challenges and celebrate the triumphs of people from all walks of life. I'm your host, Claudia.
And I'm your co-host, Jen.
Have you ever felt like you were in the wrong career or job, but there was nothing you could do about it because you felt like it was too late? Well, today's guest is going to let you know that that is not the case. Theresa decided at the age of 41 that she was going to go back to school and do what she really wanted. Please help us welcome Dr. Theresa Skaar. Hi, Theresa. How are you today?
I'm doing so good. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited for this conversation.
We are so excited for this conversation, and I do this to the audience way too much, and they probably hate me, but we've already had so many good laughs in the time that we've been chatting that they don't get to be let in on, but I'm sure that there's going to be more laughs to come.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm excited. Jen, how are you feeling this morning?
Feeling pretty good about all the things.
Excellent. I also appreciate how we're all, if you're watching, you'll see this. If you're listening, then get on YouTube and watch us. But we all kind of have like some complementary colors going on here.
We really
We got a nice array of like the pastellies, and then we got some punch with Miss Theresa here.
Jewel tones.
Yes, I love it. So Theresa, other than being super cute and fun and funny, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. And a little bit about myself. So I am a lifelong learner, late bloomer. If I'm looking at kind of my trajectory path, I started working. My original career was working in nursing homes, so working with older adults. And then that bridged into corporate. So I worked as an insurance claims adjuster. I did work comp, really got tired of people lying to me, but there were people who really needed the services. And those people were lovely, but there were some challenging ones. And then I worked in engineering for a lot of years. I was a marketing assistant and an executive assistant, HR rep. I wore a lot of hats at that company. And so it was, all of this was just kind of plodding along. And this might be a deep cut, but we could put a link to it. But there was a commercial years ago, monster.com. I mean, long time ago, that was like these little kids dressed in suits and they were like, I can file all day long. And I used to I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't care as long as I get my paycheck every 2 weeks. I'm good I don't need a lot of fanfare. I have a good, life outside of work and so it wasn't to say that I didn't have ambition or didn't have like work ethic, because I really did, but I didn't see more for myself. But I always kind of was like, oh, I wish I could, because I didn't finish college at the normal age. So my first semester in college, dismal. I slept through my first ever college course, and woke up in a panic, and so there was just this windy path, and I'd take classes here and there, hit or miss, community college, regular college, whatever. And I just thought, oh, I guess that's just not for me. That's just not going to be my path, and that's fine. And when I married my husband, we met later in life. So I was 33 when we met. Yeah, 33. And I had been dating. Like, we're not going to go, I mean, we could go into those stories because there was a lot of, emotional abuse and, good times. But when I met Charlie, he just kept encouraging me to try new things. He'd be like, you need hobbies. And I was like, oh, I don't know. So then I would start. I started knitting because I was trying to quit smoking, and I quit smoking. And, so there was just these little changes that were happening. Then a big change happened where the boss that I worked so well with moved to a different state. My grandma, who I was so close with, we'd see each other every Thursday. We watched Friends together for, that whole entire decade, and would have dinner, and she passed away. And so I found myself really just purposeless, like just kind of lost. There was the grief, but there was not the anchor at work. And so I went and I decided to take a different job. And I wasn't sure because I'd been at this company for so many years and, had this great base. And then this other company was like, oh, you could come work for us. And I was legitimately in Target on the phone with my therapist, like crouching down, going like, what should I do? What should I do? And she was like, well, it's kind of the devil, or try something new because you've
Mm-hmm.
kind of been down this path. So I went with the new company. I cried every day, like
Mm-hmm.
legit every day at lunch. And I was still smoking at the time. So I'd like go take my stupid lunch and smoke and cry and smoke and cry and, tried to get my old job back. And they're like, dude, no, like you left and it's no longer here for you. And then the economic downturn was happening in like 2008, 2009. And they were having closed door meetings, and I legit would stare at their doors because I sat kind of out, whatever, by them. And I would stare at their doors and I'd be like, lay me off. Because I was so tired and exhausted with this stupid job and like despondent
Mm-hmm.
that I couldn't see a way out. Like I couldn't see a way to apply for jobs or try for something else. It was such a toxic environment. And then they laid me off. And I got to go,
Yay.
yay. I know there's probably other people who had had turning points and a lot of devastation. So I don't make light of that. And for me, being laid off at that time, my husband was like, well, finish your degree. So I, as a grown up, got to go
Mhm.
back to college full time, like I didn't think, so I was like, oh, like it just felt like okay, like, like a path
Mhm.
that was unfolding. And so I got my undergrad degree, went back to work at the engineering firm as a project accountant, which is just not, I know, I mean, it is
Mhm.
not my skill set at all. In fact, while I was at that firm, all throughout all the 13 years or however many years, they would joke and say that I should have like the I Love Lucy, or not I Love Lucy, but the Lucy from the Peanuts, like advice five
Oh, yeah, yeah,
cents,
yeah. Right,
Yeah,
right.
because
yeah.
everyone
5 cents.
would
Yep.
just come and talk to me. And so breadcrumbs, right? And I
Mhm.
went back as a project accountant, and my advisor from college was like, well, go to grad school. And I'm first generation college. So I had no path in this realm at all. And she kept
Mhm.
saying, go to grad school, go to grad school. And yeah. And I was like, no, I just got done with my undergrad degree. I graduated when I was 41. I was like, I'm back to work. I'm this and that. And then of course, God, the universe, however you want to say it, started putting other barriers.
Mhm.
So my hours got cut, my this got changed, my that got changed. Like there was just all these things. And so I sat down with Carrie at lunch or dinner, whatever, and I was like, okay, what's this grad school thing? Like, tell me about it. So I took all the information and I was talking to my husband, and he goes, think about your bookshelf, babe. Like, that's part of my bookshelf. But he goes, think about your bookshelf. And he said, do you want to get paid for things that you do for free already? The things that you gravitate for, the things that you're already reading, the things that you're already doing. And with that, we made the decision and I applied and I got into a PhD program at the University of Reno, Nevada. And so we uprooted our lives I was 44, moved out there, and we were out there for almost a decade, while I was in school. And then
Mhm.
I was working as a director at the gerontology academic program for the Sanford Center for Aging. Yeah, and then we've just recently moved back to Minnesota, like recently 2 years. So that's in a very short nutshell, like my degree path, or how I got to be here. And I
Mhm.
graduated with my PhD at 51. So I'm 55 now. And so yeah, like thinking about this path, you could not have told 20-year-old
Mhm.
old me where I would be today. And there was like lots of pain and suffering during all of it because grad school was real hard, real hard.
I I have a couple things,
Yes,
Jen,
please.
and then I'll let you jump in. Firstly, I'm going to need to see notarized proof of age because there's no way that you're 55. So I'm going to start with that. So just if you'll just send that over at
You
your
got
earliest convenience,
We
we
won't
need
publish it or
right,
anything, but like
but we just
we
need
need
to
to
see it.
visibly,
it.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
also we need the number to the whatever aging center you were just talking about because
right.
obviously it's working.
Yes. So That's
10, 10.
first.
Got it. Got
Got it.
Excellent.
it.
Thank you. Second, I can totally relate to your original college story. So my freshman year in college, I actually missed one of my final exams. And I'm sure you guys are like, how do you do that, Claudia? Because like you go to class, so like you just go to your exam. No. See, where I went to college my first year, UNC, Tar Heels. I hate UNC, just putting that out there. Um, your class time and your exam time was not the
Weren't the
same.
same.
Mhm.
So there was this huge booklet that you'd have to flip through to see when your exam was. So I'm flipping through and I'm 17, like I didn't care. Um, and I see like all math classes this date and time. And I was like, right on. So I show up and like there's nobody in the room. So I go back and look. There was an asterisk and it was like, oh, except for these 48 other math classes, they're at this time, which was 2 days earlier. So that happened. Yeah. So I did not get a good grade in that math class, so I can relate to that. Jen, share. What do you have to say about other than we need all the proof and the information on the
Well,
aging?
well, I would say college. Ugh, I could get on a soapbox about this in this country, but
Mhm.
I feel like we set everybody up so much to go to school, go to school, go to
Mhm.
school, and get a good job. And not everybody goes to school right away or should go to school, period, or should go to
Right.
a university. Maybe they should go to a
Mhm.
trade school. And so for me, my college, I wanted to go to a big university, but couldn't afford it. So I decided to stay back and do community college and work full time in order to pay for my education. And so my path was a little bit longer just
Mhm.
because I had to take a couple
Mhm.
breaks here and there, for
Yeah.
financial reasons. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was originally pre-med and then met organic chemistry, which was the devil. Nobody can tell me different. It is
Mhm.
not a logical science.
Mhm.
Hey, let's take this and flip it on its axis and twist it this way. But guess what? It's something different. I'm like, no, no, on paper, no, 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 that's not logical. Science is logical, y'all. Like that's how we go. Um, that's my sidebar. But yeah, and I mean, like having kind of an identity crisis in the middle of my college career of like,
Mhm.
wow, my whole life I wanted to be a doctor. I mean, from when I was 2 years old all the way up until I took organic chemistry, like I was going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And it
Mhm.
was like, what do you do with yourself? And for me,
Right.
I was like, I'm going to take a step back, and not waste money and waste my time. And
Mhm.
I met with a lot of resistance on that.
Yeah.
Even I'll be honest, even my mom and I didn't talk
Mhm.
for several months because of that decision I made because she thought I would never go back because
Mhm.
she never went back.
Gotcha.
Um, and
Mhm.
so I can kind of relate a little bit on that, but I also feel like empowering people, and it's okay to not go to school right away.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
okay to maybe figure out, live life a little bit and figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
Or it's also okay to change your career multiple times throughout. Like
Mhm.
it's not how our grandparents were or our great
Right.
grandparents were that like had a career for. My grandfather was an electrician, literally like got out of the Navy from the war and was an electrician his entire life.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that just kind of doesn't happen anymore. A lot of people change
Right.
their careers. I mean, I think they say the average person now changes a career, like career change, not job
Mhm.
change,
Right.
4 times in their life.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I
That's
think it needs to be more talked about,
Mhm.
and not so taboo or
Right.
whatnot. And again, like at 20 years old, you figured,
You're
how
supposed
do
to
you
know
know what you're going to
everything
want to?
about your future.
Right.
right.
And you
Oh,
don't. And again,
right.
like, what if you get into something and you're like, bro, I hated this. This sucks. Like, I can't
Right.
tell you how many people are like, oh, yeah,
Yes.
I love this and I wanted to go into it. And then I did it and I hated it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
like,
statistics on like how like what people go to school for and what they end up doing, like it's so far off. It's so rare. It's
Right.
so, and I agree that I mean, my husband and I say this all the time. We're like, why do we think that everyone needs this type of education? And
Right.
again, there was something in me kind of following breadcrumbs, but I
Mm-hmm.
never thought, oh, I need to be this and this means something. What it
Mm-hmm.
means is that I've had a lot of different experiences. So, when I worked at insurance, I was like, ooh, they're weird. Like that's a weird kind of vibe. And then engineers, I was like, ooh, that's a whole different kettle of fish. And I love my engineers. And then I went to academia. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so you just want to talk to yourselves in these publications that like three other people are reading. And
Right.
so that didn't resonate for me, like that kind of I'll just say arrogance that I would
Mm-hmm.
see in that, like, oh, I have this title. And early on, one of my professors said, it's a union card, your PhD. They're like, it opens up certain doors and it'll mean some things to some people, but it's not, he's like,
Mm-hmm.
and that helped ground me, like as
Right.
we were going through that. And there's things that I'm doing today that I wouldn't need my degree, but the path took me there, right? So I was so
Mm-hmm.
Right.
stressed that first year in grad school. I went back. I mean, I had quit smoking for 6 years, went back to smoking because my body's like, oh, this is what we do when we're stressed. I started eating an embarrassing amount of Sour Patch Kids. I don't know why
There's
that was
nothing
my
wrong with that.
Dude, we have
the
a
to
five
the
pound bag
degree.
downstairs right now in our pantry. So like
But
don't even
to the degree that I was consuming them that first year, everything was just out of whack. Drinking went
Mm-hmm.
up. There was all these things, and I was talking to someone at work, and they were like, have you ever tried meditation? And I was like, I will legitimately try anything. And so that's when I took my first class. And then while I was getting my PhD, then I started getting trained to teach, mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is an
Mm-hmm.
8-week course. And then towards the end of my degree, got certified in mind body medicine. And so these are things that I could have done without my, quote unquote degree.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I do air quotes? I do have a degree. Like,
right.
anyways, but I wouldn't have found it, or maybe I would have, and it would have just been a different path. I don't know. Like we can't see down all of those paths, but I
Right.
think I think pausing, and I think it's Sweden that does like 2 years where you either have to do like service in their armed forces, or you
Mm-hmm.
do service like on
Yes.
their Red Cross or something like that, where you
Right.
are
It's Sweden or Switzerland, but
right.
yes, you are
Yes, but you're
correct.
taking
Yes.
that time from
Mm-hmm.
18 to 20
Yep.
to be in service in community supporting, and
Love
then
it.
you're making a decision from
Mm-hmm.
there. And I think that, I didn't have okay, you didn't read your book, Claudia, but I slept through it because I was at a dang party the night before and could just function, I mean, functioning. So you at least attempted, an attempt was made. So I
Well, at
give
least
you
you knew the right time. I mean, you know.
That is true. And as a professor, because I taught at the university, they did that at UNR too, a different time, sometimes
Yeah.
even a different room, which
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like a
which is
totally different building, like on another side of the
bananas,
campus.
100%. All
bananas.
different.
And I
All
Well,
never
that
different.
did
happened to
that.
me a couple times and that was at UNCG. So
Okay,
like I
yeah.
think it's just a university thing, but yeah, dude, I was like, oh,
Like part of your test is figuring out when your test
Yes.
is.
So I
And
failed.
right.
and I would always tell my students, I'm like, it's at the
Horrible
same
test taker.
time, it's at this, and we're not
Yeah.
we're not playing
See,
that.
because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what was it like for you, going back to school later in life? Did you encounter any, and I don't want to say resistance because like that's not right, but any feelings from your fellow students? Like, did they look at you any differently?
Oh, that's a great question. So yeah, pointing to the ageism, which is rampant everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I, it was funny because I remember because my personality is such that if someone asks a question and it's like crickets, like I want to respond.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also a tendency of older students because they have the confidence and they're like, whatever. So I was very aware of my like hand up, because I
Mhm.
didn't want to leave the professor not in communication, but I was like, oh my God, so I had some thoughts about, being perceived as the older
Mhm.
person who was always yapping. And then when I talked to someone in my cohort, they're like, oh no, thank God you do that because then we don't like the pressure's off of them. So they appreciated that about me. And then when I was at UNR, because I was working at the Sanford Center for Aging, and that for is a very deliberate
Mm.
thing is so I was surrounded by pro-aging messages and I was
Mhm.
surrounded by
Mm.
and I taught gerontology to undergrad, so I would sit and talk to them about, aging at, when they're in their, 18, 20, and they're kind of like, this has nothing to do with me. And I'm like, oh, ho,
Mhm.
ho, yes, it does. And because internalized ageism and all of those things, it was when I got back to Minnesota. So we moved back. And now all of a sudden, I'm not surrounded by pro-aging people who and also my cohort were all young enough to be our
Mhm.
kids, so there
Mhm.
was some funny moments there. But when I came back, then I'm with my peers, right? And I'm like with the
Mhm.
kid, people I went to high school with, and the way they were talking about aging, I was like, wait, what? What happened? Like what? We're mad about aging? Like I don't even understand. Like so that's when it kind of dawned on me was coming
Wow.
back into my peer group where they were, just talking about it and kind of talking about life like it was over in some ways.
I realized too my question was kind of dumb because you looked the same age as the students.
Oh,
So they wouldn't have
I like to think
realized.
so.
So yeah, that's my bad.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they would have just been like, "Oh, she's like 25. That's cool."
Oh, yeah. No.
I would
They
maybe
sense those things, man. Yeah.
I would maybe even take it one step further to maybe
Mhm.
not just from an age perspective, also from like a maturity
Right.
perspective. Like I remembered me, and now granted, like again, my I finally got my second final degree when I was 25. So it was a little bit, past the average age. But,
Mhm.
you know, I think also for someone who is a little bit older, because you're probably paying for it. Mommy
Yeah.
and daddy aren't
Yeah.
footing the bill. I also
Mhm.
think you participate a little bit more, you pay
Yeah.
attention a little bit more. Again, you understand the value and what you're
Hmm.
where you're at.
Mhm.
Like let's just be honest. Like an 18-year-old who
Yeah.
just got shipped off to college, who
Mhm.
just graduated from high school, who has no idea about real world and bills and the
Yes.
actual cost of a class, like
Mhm.
probably might have a little bit different perspective or like kind of like what you said your first time around in college, like you were partying. Like,
Hmm.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people have that perspective. Whereas like if you do have that distance, that maturity,
Yes.
a little bit
Mhm.
of life, you take it a little bit more serious because you understand the value of it.
Yes. And almost like a conscious choice. And
Yeah,
when
exactly.
I
Mhm.
was able to go back and get my undergrad, I remember feeling just like the luckiest person to
Yeah,
be a grown up and not be
Mhm.
shoving in studying in with a full-time job because that's really hard because I did it
Right.
before. I did many different
right.
iterations of that
Mhm.
throughout the years as I was going into that. And so to have that last 2 years as a full-time student as an adult, yeah, I took it. I love this point because it was very different.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
did take it very seriously and I felt very blessed and lucky to have had the opportunity to be able to just focus on my studies.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is something you would say to people like who are in your situation? So maybe they are in their 30s, 40s, 50s,
Yeah.
and they're feeling stuck, lost, not living their purpose, and they're thinking, I'm going to go back to school. What would you say to them? What are some tips or pointers that you would give?
Well, mm. You touched on a word like so purpose. I think it's also a lot of pressure, right? Because,
Mhm.
we think we might have one singular purpose, but
Right.
to Jennifer's point of, how many different careers do people
Mhm.
have? So maybe I would first say like if you're feeling like that heart pull to do something different or you're feeling like stuck and despondent, I would first say like acknowledge to yourself, and I'm putting like my hand to heart center because like
Mhm.
that's hard. It's such a scary and,
Right.
hard place to be. And then to like take a deep breath and start looking at possibilities. And I think even starting the glance at a possibility is going like, oh, okay, so it wouldn't be weird if I took a class, or maybe there is something interesting that I could sit in, because often people will let you audit a class, or you
Hmm.
Hmm.
could, say, or you could talk to some program that you might be interested in and say like, oh, can I just, before I jump in full hearted, like financially,
Hmm.
can I check this out and see, is there, a molecular biology in my future? What was it? What was the one class that tanked your
Was it
med career?
organic chemistry?
Organic
Oh, organic
chemistry.
chemistry. No,
Yeah.
Okay.
microbiology was amazing.
Okay.
I aced that one. It was organic
Okay,
chemistry.
organic chemistry.
Hmm.
Yeah, so if there's an organic chemistry, and I think that I don't have a magic wand, because even the choice that we made to do that, there are times where we're like, was that the right decision
Hmm.
given, challenges in, right now building a career in my 50s and doing these things. So I think it's getting quiet enough,
Hmm.
and and starting to like tap into, whether it is God, your higher self, your universe, however you relate, but really starting to say like, okay, what is meaningful? Can that be done volunteering? Is there something that I can do that maybe if I feel stuck, that there's just one like shift? Because as they say, I don't know if you've heard like the airplane turning or the boat turning, it's like such small
Yep.
degrees,
Right.
and all of a sudden you're in a different port or a different place. So I think, especially when you're feeling stuck or crying every day at lunch, I couldn't see my I could like I that was such a like a dark time,
Hmm.
of yeah, just like, who am I and what am I doing? And it's not to say that I haven't had those times multiple. I mean, there was a time when I was doing comps in grad school that I was literally on my knees sobbing, going, why am I doing this? Like, what am I doing? And, there's been plenty of tears in the rest of the journey. But I think coming back to like what's meaningful, and I do like purpose. I just think that when we say like there's a one purpose, like it
Hmm.
gets a little like too heavy. Like I need my one shiny bright star of who I
Right.
am. But how can you do that in little microdoses? And I don't know if that helps anyone, except for deep care and empathy if you are going through it right now, because that sucks. It just sucks.
How do you feel differently now? So, looking back at the Theresa, who was either filing the papers repeatedly and just happy to get her paycheck, to the Theresa who was staring at the door like, please lay me off, please lay me off, to Theresa now, who still has some of those tearful moments,
Yeah.
but is living more so the life that you want. Talk about the difference that you feel and kind of how that translates to the rest of your life and your relationships.
Ooh, oh, good
That was a
stuff.
big one. Sorry.
Yeah, no, no, don't, I know. I'm like, ooh, let's get into it. Um, so and the way you set that up was really beautiful. So just bringing me to those pieces and places and times in my life, I would say it is those moments where I look back to, and they actually anchor my heart when I feel worry now, is because I'm like, I couldn't have seen the doors that opened. I
Hmm.
couldn't have even
Yeah.
imagined a life where I had like a doctorate. Like I didn't even know what that was for most of my life. So the fact that so when I think about those times, like before I met my husband and I was dating
Hmm.
and having, ugh, to meeting him and feeling kind of those moments and pivots in my life, what it does for me now is where I'm like, I might not be able to see what the next step is, but I trust
Hmm.
that by one foot in front of the other, that it works out. And that phrase can be really triggering for people, like everything works out, because we have lots of different, traumas and challenges and things like that. So I don't mean to like blanket statement and like go like, oh, silver lining it, because sometimes things just suck.
Hmm.
And there are those moments for me when I look back and I'm like, okay, I can't see it now. I couldn't see it then. And so I'm trying to stay as open and grateful for what I have, and then stay open to being surprised, because that's what life keeps doing for me, is
Mhm.
surprising me.
When you look at what you've been through
Mm-hmm.
and the places that you've worked, so you kind of a lot of times were involved in places related to aging.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I was younger, I thought 50 was old, 60 is old. And no way can you start something new at 50 because, like, you're done at 50. Did you ever have that mindset and have to fight with that? Or because you were kind of working with aging populations and seeing people who were exuberant and energetic and living life in those ages that a lot of us thought were old, did that help you out? Or did you suffer those same kind of thoughts originally? Like, what am I thinking? I'm 40, now I'm 50. I can't do this.
So I did not have the thoughts like I can't do this because of age. What is kind of my, like, as the kids say, delulu stuff is that because I have had such advanced ages that I've witnessed, whether it was
Mhm.
working at the nursing home or my own grandma or, husband's grandpa, I think I have like 40 more years. And I would tell my students, I'm like, I would not be going through this program if I didn't think that I
Mm,
had 40 more years. Like
right.
why would I invest in all of this time, energy, and money if I didn't think that I could keep doing this? I also, because of the work that I get to do, I don't want to retire. So I don't have that clock ticking. So
Hmm.
again, when I had come back and people are like, okay, so 10 years to retirement, 12 years to retirement, whatever that goal is,
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't have that. So I just kind of think I'll work as long as I can because I mean, does it feel like work? Like, no.
Right.
So that is a beautiful piece of it.
Hmm.
And there have been times where, as I'm trying to figure out how to set up a website and how to TikTok or, whatever I'm trying to do,
Hmm.
there are times where I'm like, I'm tired. Like, like perimenopause, menopause, that's no joke. I was going through perimenopause while I was in grad school, had no idea because I
Mm.
just attributed everything to grad school. So I'm
Right.
like
Right.
up in the middle of the night, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I'm crying. I just thought it was grad school. And then I'm like, oh, no, there was things that probably could have helped me
I
along the
had
way with that.
extra
But
going on.
yeah, just a little extra. So I would say that my exposure to longevity helped
Hmm.
me create that. But then when I hear the stats of, like 79 or, whatever the median age is now, I'm like, oh, well, like that's 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, well,
Mm.
like that goes by
Right.
in a heartbeat. So that's a different, like,
Yeah.
yeah, perspective.
I mean, I intend to live until at least like 162.
Oh, perfect.
So,
Yeah.
you
Love
know,
that.
Bro, you might need to find a new bestie on that one because I'm definitely not living that long. I
I'm just
love
gonna
you, but
I'm gonna weekend at Bernie's it.
okay,
I'm
that's
just
fine.
gonna like
Oh,
carry you around. I'll
oh,
dress you
because like,
up.
look, man, I love life. I'm going to tell you this now, but this body of mine
Hmm.
at the age of almost 42 is not very happy and not working all that correctly.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I cannot wait until the day that I'm with Jesus and I ain't got to deal with this stuff. Okay, so
So
just
if
throwing that
so
one out there.
so if that happens before I reach 162, I will totally weekend at Bernie's it. I
Okay.
will I will take you around with me. We'll go visit Theresa at the
Yes.
fountain of ultimate youth.
Yes, right,
Right. And I'll
right.
sprinkle on the tincture, if you will.
So that like
That's
totally
amazing.
reminds me of the ad that we did for Bria. So I just got a dog and my husband and I are very much involved in crypto and businesses in regards to that. And so the community decided to create a meme coin of my dog. And then they created an ad with my dog of weekend at Bria's. And so I'm gonna find it
Yes.
real quick because it's that when
Yes.
she said that, I was
It
like, that's just hilarious.
it is
That's
hilarious.
amazing.
While you're looking for that, something else that we think about sometimes when it comes to aging and how it's going to fare through our aging is our tattoos. Because
Mm.
we're always thinking about, what is it going to look like when I'm 162. Theresa, I know that you have some great tattoos, and I'm stoked because we have had some guests lately who are amazing human beings. They just didn't have tattoos.
Yeah.
So, what is your funniest tattoo story?
Oh, well, it's my first tattoo story as well.
Awesome.
So back in the day, I wanted to get a tattoo, and the person I was dating, and we were together for 8.5 years, he hated tattoos, like violently hated tattoos, but he also hated feet. So I was like, I'm going to get a tattoo on my toe because he will
Yes.
never see it. And
Oh,
so
I
I
thought I was
love
going to do
it.
it more to piss him off, but okay, go ahead.
no, no, I wasn't quite. I know, no, that's a whole other topic. But
Episode
the,
2.
yeah, there you go.
Episode 2.
Please, please, to be continued. But so I put it on my toe, and for whatever reason, it didn't all take. So I had like it was supposed to be a flower and vines, and there's just some like greenery there. And my grandma, who I would spend every Thursday with, I was showing her the tattoo and she's like, "Oh, Terry." She's the only one who calls me Terry. And she's like, "Terry, David is not going to like that." And I said, "He'll never see it." Or I said, "It'll be till Florida." So she bet me $5 that he would see it before then and whatever. And then I through a series of events, I was in, and I'm fine. I was in the hospital, but my feet were hot. So I was like, "Dave, will you take off my sock?" And he's like, "What the fuck is on your, well, so, but what's on your toe?" And I tucked it under the covers. And I'm like, "Oh shoot, I owe grandma $5." So, so that was one of the funniest ones. And then, yeah, I have, yeah, my tattoo artist in Reno, Boomy Bones, shout out. She said I had the most matching tattoos of anyone that she knows because so this one says one story, which
Hmm.
my friend designed, and it for us it's like everyone's one story away from understanding someone else. So like even if you're totally at
Hmm.
odds, if you actually sat down and had one story with them, which is why
Hmm.
I love what you're doing on your podcast, is that we're one story away. And so
Right.
and then this is with Katie and, thankful. So this one is thankful. And
Hmm.
so, but the, the colors that are different, it
Hmm.
stands for like the gates of speech. So is it true? Is it timely? Is it necessary? Is it useful? And is it kind?
Think.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah.
Hmm.
And so thankful.
I
So
have a bracelet that literally says that on
do
there.
you
For
really? And
I'm
so
not kidding.
think that's
We,
amazing. I
we
love
did it
that.
with we did that with our small group here
Yes.
quite a few years ago. We had a whole bunch of their little, those little the
Mhm.
bracelets that everybody gets, the little
Mhm.
rubber
Yep.
band rubber ones or whatever, and we
Hmm.
had think on it. And every week before we opened up, we prayed and then we said, what does think stand for? So
Hmm. I love
Yes.
look at
that.
that.
Yeah, and I'm like I'm just gonna permanently, so I can just like
Yeah.
hit myself on the head, and if there's a conversation that wants to happen at 10 o'clock, and I'll be like, No, not timely, not
Not
timely, go to
timely.
sleep."
See? Okay.
Thank you for
Do you have
asking.
tattoos planned for the future?
I don't. I haven't had an urge. I was kind of getting them, like my bigger ones, when like I finished my whatever, something in grad school comps, and then something, and then when I graduated. So I was kind of like doing, because the physical pain
Hmm.
takes you out of like the mental pain.
Right.
And so and then with mindfulness, I'm like, you are never more mindful than when you
Right.
are on the table under a needle,
Hmm.
man. Like you are present, and that
So
is a
true.
gift of tattoos.
That is
So
so
true.
true.
And my
All right.
husband doesn't have any, but he will put
Oh.
stickers all over,
Oh,
like
okay.
everything.
Yep.
And I am reluctant to sticker anything. And he's like, "But
Hmm.
you'll put stickers all over your
All
body."
over.
I'm like,
That's so funny.
Well,
100%.
Oh, see,
yes.
I'm both. I put stickers over everything:
A sticker
suitcases,
at all.
water
Yeah.
bottles, mugs, and then
I,
ourselves.
I'm
Hmm.
breaking into the sticker realm.
Not
I have
cars,
one
though.
here that says
No,
"Enjoy the journey." So
I love
there's
that.
yeah, but
that's
not
super
cars.
cute.
No, not
No,
oh,
not
No.
cars, not
I do have
cars.
two on my cars. That's funny.
See,
Okay.
but see, like, and it's funny because like I've bought stuff for my car and then never put it on.
Is
Okay.
it on the
So I'm like,
glass or the body of the car?
Glass.
See,
okay, see,
I'm okay with glass.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
yeah,
just can't get behind, and I mean, obviously, do what you want with your own cars, people. But for me, it's like put something maybe on the glass because it's very easy to remove.
Yes.
But yeah, on the actual body of the car, I just can't. And again, I get it. I sticker myself, but I just can't.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Theresa,
Here's our Bernie's thing real quick.
Oh, that's
yep.
amazing.
So
Look at
just
Yeah.
that
put
So they,
Jen
pretty
in
puppy.
there,
Oh, those ears.
and that's going
Oh
to
my
be
oh my
gosh.
gosh.
us.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
I would bring her up for a cameo, but she is sedated because she's injured right now. She hurt her shoulder getting in a fight with her leash and
Oh,
is
dang.
currently passed out on the floor, like drooling because
You know how those leashes
sedated.
are.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
how
You
those
don't,
leashes
she's like,
are.
do not contain me. Do not hold me back,
Right,
man.
right. I cannot be contained.
Yes, it's a Belgian
Theresa,
Malinois. So if that says anything,
Oh
oh yeah,
my
yeah,
gosh, my
face,
husband wants one of those so bad. And I'm like, we are too lazy. Like, we are just
bro.
too, we do not have the energy for a
Like,
Malinois.
okay,
Yes.
okay, so we can cut this out after it. I just have to say this. This is
Yes.
also another reason why I'm super glad that we're postponing my wedding. We'll get to that in a second because I see your
Okay. Yeah.
face. Is
Please.
because it's all cut up. I'm like, bro, we're gonna have to Photoshop the crap out of that. So side note, yes, I got married in February. My wedding was supposed to be in Zion National Park. I'm a huge hiker,
Oh,
love
yeah.
photographer. Well, my husband, pastor, and one of my other best friends, and mind you, there was 20 people coming to the whole wedding, very small,
Okay.
all got severe food poisoning. My husband ended up in the emergency room on our wedding day. We got married in his hotel room.
Oh, my gravy.
So then we planned a ceremony. I totally forgot about, so we're actually on number 4 right now. I totally forgot
that's right.
about the May ceremony that we were going to do back here at
Yep,
home. We were going to do like
yep.
a big celebration. Canceled that. Rescheduled, redid the wedding for August 30th out in Colorado. I got super sick with my Crohn's and everything.
So we're
So
moving
literally
that.
on Monday made the decision. We're like, we can't do this. So we canceled it. So that's why I was like joking around. I was like, all right, bro, last
She
time,
probably should have just gotten married in May, right?
right?
If
So
only we
we
would
are
have met
married. We just
sooner.
have not had a wedding
Right.
ceremony. I have no photos. I have had nothing. Like my husband was in sweatpants, shaking, profusely sweating, next to me in
I
my dress that was like half buttoned.
didn't have the right shoes on because
Nope,
I didn't have time.
nope. My
It
mom is so
was
funny. My mom's like, "Do you want to buy?" I was like, "I don't have time to buy anything." Like I like my sleeves, like
that
I had
was
like
funny.
long sleeves, like my sleeves are flapping everywhere. I had like no jewelry on. It was, and
God.
everybody's like, "Do you want to see your photos?" And I was like, "No, I don't think
No,
she's
no.
seen them.
I've seen the photos.
But
They're
I
not
love
good."
you are embracing for better or for worse and sickness and in
Right?
health,
Bro.
man. Like that is like that it to me, that is like a beautiful love story and marriage story because you are like, we are doing this. We don't need to
Oh
be
yeah.
optimal in any way,
Right.
but because we are committing ourselves together now.
I so appreciate you saying that because you don't even know the number of people who have been like, well, you probably shouldn't have done it. Or even in that moment, like, oh, you should cancel. Like, you don't want to do this. Oh, why are you going to do that? And she's like, because I'm supposed to get married today. Like, we are
Yeah.
getting married today.
Yeah.
But the number of people who tried to sway her out of
Mm,
it,
yeah.
or
Mhm.
say later, like, well, why didn't you just wait? Is astounding. So I appreciate you flipping that into what
Yeah.
it actually is, which is love and devotion that cannot be contained.
It's beautiful. It's
Yes.
You know,
beautiful. And I
literally
think
the
you should
epitome
embrace
of
those pictures.
Yeah.
sickness.
There
Well, some of them are like
there
what we
are
were talking
some
about the photos of like I'm literally like
oh yeah.
I'm
The pictures of
crying
her
of
terrible.
me are
Um
terrible.
but there are some amazing like pre pictures
Yes.
that are good. And at one point, at some time, we will share them with her. And I say we because obviously I'm more than one person, whatever.
Yeah.
But I will share those with her and she will love them. But it's not that time
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. I
So
get that. I
Probably
get that.
probably mind
yeah,
something we might need to,
yeah, yeah.
watch those, watch
Right.
through them,
So right.
Mhm.
mildly. inebriated. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
Not that I drink, but like I'm just saying,
No.
like,
She just wants to be, she wants to be a loaded baked potato, is what she's saying right now.
Yes. So if you're
as, you,
coming out
as
of,
you're watching it, you're like, oh, that was the moment that I got told that no, your wedding's not happening. Oh, that was
when you hit 50 and you're coming out of like colonoscopy sedation, that's
oh
when you can show her.
Yes.
sweetheart.
Well,
I've
she's
had 12
familiar.
of those.
She
I
has
have Crohn's
Crohn's.
disease. That's why I'm sick.
Oh,
That's why we had to cancel the other wedding.
oh, I heard
Yeah.
Crohn's and did not connect those dots.
But
You're
Okay.
totally, but
but I
yes,
love that
Yes.
idea.
yes.
I love it.
So you're not, yeah. Oh, that's so.
Next colonoscopy, I'm gonna be there with the laptop. I'm like, ready?
Oh my God, please do. Please do. And be like, oh my God, guys, we're so excited. Everything's clean and clear. I'm like, oh great. Why do I still feel like crap?
Yes,
Please
and
help me.
I'm just gonna put on a mask and everything, and I'm be like, doctor, like I'm rolling right in with you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
just
Let's
we're
go.
I
doing
am
it.
part of this. I am part
Yeah,
of this
we're
now.
doing this.
Part of the team,
Teresa, I
guys.
don't want to let you go.
Yeah.
But I guess I have to. We
Yeah.
have to, which is incredibly unfortunate. And I do hope that a part two or a part due will be in order. Until then, where can people find you? So if they want to track you down for any of your services, I know you talked about meditation and some other things and courses that you do. So if they want to hit you up for some of that, or if they want to talk about what kind of potato you would be, where can they find you?
I love it. Thank you so much. So my website is theresabskaar.com. So just my name, TheresaBskaar.com. And I'm on LinkedIn under Dr. Teresa. I'm on Instagram under Dr. Dr. Teresa underscore B. Anyways, look for Teresa B. Score.
We got you.
Yeah.
And then on TikTok, I'm Dr. T with Mindful Moments. So sometimes I'll post, I do watercolor painting and I'll talk about meditation. I lead workshops and do speaking covering topics on burnout, self-awareness, navigating grief, aging mindfully. And I also have this background in these experience-based formats. So I do training on that as well.
All right.
Well, you have been amazing. I think I can speak for everyone in saying this has been such a great time that we've spent with you. I'm so grateful. And I really, truly do hope that you will join us again because I think we
please.
have so much more to discuss.
I love that. Thank you for having me on. This has been a dream. And I quite honestly forgot many times that we were recording. So I just was like, oh, I'm meeting new friends. And I love that. So thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Strong Enough podcast. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform by searching Strong Enough. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Strong Enough Pod. If you have suggestions for an upcoming episode or a future guest, please reach out at strongenoughpod@gmail.com. Remember, you are worth it.